Good morning everybody, it is Friday and it is jab day. Yes, I've had another good week. Nothing really much to comment on. I have not really had any side effects this week, like at all, which has been brilliant. Especially with the sunshine and the heat that we've had. No side effects. I'm feeling good. I am feeling really much more normal in myself. I feel the amount of weight that I've lost has put me back into that category of being my normal fat. This is still fat, but where I sit more comfortably, sitting in a sort of size 18, squeezing into a size 16 clothes. They're still too tight, but I can squeeze into them. But I'm sitting at about an 18 now, and the clothes that I have in my wardrobe fit. So I'm wearing some trousers today. I can just show you that are very not figure hugging. They are floaty trousers with a belt, which means they're very fussy around the waist. But I'm feeling good in them. I know I still look fat, but I feel so much better and just much smaller. Everything feels much smaller. So that is absolutely amazing and I'm really, really chuffed. Let's do weigh-in, shall we? When I weighed in last week, I weighed in at 15 stone and 3 pounds. And this morning, I weigh in at 15 stone and 1 pound, yay! Which means I have lost another 2 pounds this week. So that is really good, absolutely thrilled. If I lose another 2 pound next week, I could fall into that 14 stone bracket, which would just be amazing. So that's my aim for this week, to get into the 14 stone bracket. Brilliant. So that gives me a total, I wrote it down because it's getting too big to just think in my head. That gives me a total weight loss now of 2 stone and 9 pounds. Yes! Oh, absolutely buzzing. You know when you lose like a couple of pounds and you think that's great, but it must have been a fluke. I don't know if you've ever felt that way, but if I lose a couple of pounds or something, or in the past I've always been, well even now actually, it's not just even in the past, it's now. I lose a couple of pounds and I think, well maybe it's just a fluke. I mean, I'm 2 stone 9 pounds down and I still feel like if I lose a couple of pounds, it feels like it's a fluke. And next week it'll be back on again. But then the week after, you lose another 2 pounds and you're like, oh, well, want a fluke then, because you haven't gone back up to where you were before. In fact, you've gone further down. Does that make sense? I don't know if what I've just said makes any sense, but I feel like somehow I am manipulating the scales to make me lose a weight. You actually weigh more than that when you don't. But then when you lose another weight loss the week later, it like almost confirms that first week, oh, actually you did. And now this week is the weight loss that is like not the real weight loss. Does that make sense? I don't think that makes sense. It's almost like the week you're living in, the week that you've just lost the weight on, that weight loss I feel is really precariously held in the balance. So that weight loss, this 2 pounds I've lost this week, I could easily put it back on next week. But if I lose another 2 pounds next week, then this week's weight loss is definitely gone and it's lost. And next week's weight loss will be the one that sat in the precariously, the one that sat sort of teetering on the edge. Do you know what I mean? So the week you lose it, it's not real. The next week, that first week, so the week after, the week before, suddenly that is definitely gone. If I've lost 2 pounds last week and 2 pounds this week, you're less likely to put 4 pounds back on next week. See, do you get me? No, maybe not. It sounded right in my head, but I don't know if that came out right. If you don't get that, I'm sorry. It's right in my head. I know what I'm thinking, just can't put it out to you. So my total weight loss is 2 stone and 9 pounds. Yes, Woohoo! That is only £5 away from 3 stone. Oh, so excited, so excited. Oh, yes, pen, yes, Mounjaro. I remember that first video when I just said, I remember it's ingrained in my brain when I just said, please work, please work. It's working, it is brilliant, I love it. I cannot love it more. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day who is debating it, and I said, do you know what, life is too short. If you can afford it, and you can justify it in your expenses, and you're really struggling with weight loss, I mean, can you put a price on your health? Can you? Yes, probably. But if you can afford it, and I'm really sad for anyone who can't afford it, but if you can afford it, and then when you've got going with it, do everything you can to keep it going, to make it work. Love it, yeah. Do you remember when I've got residue left on my belly a few times? I think I've just worked out what it is, literally just this second it's twig. I'm doing my primer shots, and I don't know if you can see, but there is liquid on the top of the pen from the primer shot. That's where my residue is coming from, because there is liquid now on there, and obviously I'm just squirting it and leaving it and then putting it on, and that's where my residue is coming from. Figured it out. So what pen are we on? How many pens have I taken? I've got 2 left. It's week 14 this week, so this is my 15th jab. I am on my second 5mg pen, so I did 2 pens at 2.5 milligram, and this is my second 5mg pen, so this is my 4th pen, 3rd jab of my 4th pen, and my 15th jab, and I've lost 2 stone 9 pounds. So last week I jabbed in my belly and it bruised me. I've never been bruised before. You can still see the bruise from last week. Let me see if I can show you. Oh, where's my tassel? Can you see my bruise? It bruised me. It's never bruised me before, but last week I got a bruise, so there we go. Right, we are gonna go here to there. So that's that done. Excellent. I'm looking a bit, I don't know if it looks this way when I actually put it on the computer, but I'm looking a bit red. I did a bit of sitting out in the sunshine the other night. I had a play date at a friend's house, and they played on the slip and slide, and we sat in the sun, so looking a little bit rosy. I'm a ginger without having actual ginger hair. I've got ginger skin. My hair, I don't know if you can just see, it's got a hint of ginger in it. Just a hint, not actual ginger, but just a hint of ginger, but I've got quite red hair. And I have the skin of a ginger, so I think about the sun and I go red. Today, let's talk targets. Everyone has a target, right? Or at least a rough idea of where you want to get to, where you'd like to be. So my target has always been 12.5 stone. That's where I have always, whenever I've gone, oh, I wish I could weigh 12.5 stone. The last time I weighed 12.5 stone, which was many years ago, I felt amazing. I fitted into size 12 clothes completely comfortably, and I felt amazing. I could buy anything out the shop, and that was where I have felt at my best at 12.5 stone. So that's kind of where I am aiming for as an initial. The Mounjaro is actually making me wonder whether I could push it and go a little less, maybe. To me to get down to 12.5 stone from when I started, I needed to lose over 5 stone to get down to 12.5. I've now lost 2 stone 9, so I am quite a well way through towards my 5 stone. So well, it's just over 5 stone. So let's go for 5.5 stone as a good measure. So I think I'm gonna have to do this for another 4 months at least, because obviously I did lose some bigger numbers nearer the beginning. So 4 or 5 months, which would take me to a total of losing weight for 9 months, which I think that's a good time frame. And then when I get down to 12.5, then I will sort of look at whether that's where I want to be or whether I want to lose any more. There is a big worry about when you get down to your target, then putting it all back on. And I guess maintaining is going to be a whole different ball game. Some comments that you see from people are, you'll lose the weight and then you'll just put it all back on again. That's people's truth, and do you know what, that might be true, but does that mean that you should not try and lose the weight in the first place? So if you're gonna lose the weight and then just put it all back on, are they then saying, is those people then saying, what's the point of losing the weight if you're just gonna put it all back on again? Because even if you had a year, this is a year of me being healthier, a year of me eating healthy and putting healthier things into my body, and a year of me generally being healthier, does that little 1 year of my life not mean I'll have had a little bit of a healthier life? Now, I'm not saying I'm going to put it all back on. In fact, I fully intend to not put it back on. That is, but then that's everyone's hope, desire, dreams, to not put the weight back on when you've lost it. Obviously no one wants to put the weight back on, but you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how your body's going to react, how you're going to I don't know how I'm going to react to having the cravings back, and I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to manage that yet. I'm hoping that by being on the Mounjaro for 9 months up to like a year, once you've like been on the Mounjaro like 9 months to a year or however long I'm on it, that I will have taught myself enough habits that I don't just eat, and then we will tackle the brain separately. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be harder, probably harder than this. I think someone did say the maintaining is harder than the losing, so I'm fully expecting that, but it's almost like that's future Steph's problem. Right now my focus is to lose the weight and lose the weight healthy. That is all I am focused on and where I want to be. Starting at 17 stone 10 and I want to get down to 12 stone 7, that's 5 stone and 3 pounds. So 2 stone and 8.5 pounds. 2 stone 8.5 pounds is halfway to my target, and I am 2 stone 9 pounds, so I am halfway to my target. Nice. Yeah, halfway to target. Yes. That's where I am this week, halfway to target. 5 stone sounds like such a big amount of weight to lose. 2.5 stone, on the other hand, doesn't sound too bad. So I'm chuffed, really chuffed, yeah. I know I talked a lot last week about Slimming World, and I'm not going into Slimming World again. That's still playing on my mind, and actually I talked to my consultant about it this week, about how I feel, and I keep her in the loop. So that's not what I'm here to talk about this week. But my Slimming World, what I really want to use Slimming World for, selfishly, is that Target member area. I've never got to Target on Slimming World. I've never got there. I've had the same target set every time I've gone, and I've never made it. This time I'm going to make it. And when I get down to Target, you don't have to pay to go. You could just go and weigh in, stage group, and use it like a free therapy session. That's what I really want Slimming Well for. You can't turn up at Target and then just go for free. But by going at the beginning of my journey, when I get to Target, I will then be able to stay at my slimming class, and hopefully that will be one of the tools that I will use to help keep me accountable and keep me in the healthy weight zone. So going to Slimming World, I go because it benefits me now, but I'm also going because it will benefit me at the end of this game. And you've got to look at the long game, because this is the rest of your life. This isn't just a quick fix, snap your fingers and it's all done. That's, although contradicting myself, I'm not thinking about 6 months in advance. I am kind of thinking 6 months in advance, because I have my Slimming Well plan to get me to Target. And if I get to 12.5 stone and I want to reduce my target, I can just do that with Slimming Well too. Reduce my target and go to wherever I want to be and wherever I'm happy and comfortable. And yeah, so it's one of my tools that I'm going to use, and it's what that's what I want to take from my Slimming World journey, as well as my pretty stickers and certificates on the wall. So I think that's it. That's all I'm going to talk about today. As always, you are an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all your comments and your likes. Last week it was a tough video for me to make, in the sense that I was conflicted, and you were all ever so supportive. So thank you so much to every single one of you who justified and clarified and confirmed that we are not cheating, we are doing the best we can and making ourselves healthier and happier and doing what is right for us. So thank you so very much to every single one of you. I love you all, and I'll see you all next week. Bye.